welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audio books and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
All right, all right. Good morning. We are live, and it doesn't look like we are live on LinkedIn for some crazy reason. I am not sure what's going on today, but welcome, welcome. The robots have taken over, and I don't know about the LinkedIn gods have booted me out. Don't know what's going on. It's been something that's going on for weeks, and it's a bit kind of crazy, and I'm going. How funny it is. I'm going live, but it's like I've got so many tabs up, it's still talking to me. Certain things are working, certain things are not. And hey, we're just going to move forward. I've got a great guest here today. I am Nicole Borghi. I am better known as the Digital Diva, and I'm here bringing you the Pain Point Podcast. What is that about? It is about bringing solutions to your business pain points and, the business pain points that we have online. And and I talk about it and it seems like, hey, Nicole, you got to get it together. And I did, right? You, when you are running a business, especially in the advent of all this new technology that's constantly moving with us, what is going on? It's changing, it's moving, it's elevating. And it's like, look, every day, every week, somebody is upgrading. It's 2026, and they did warn us. They did say, hey, those from Silicon Valley, anybody that works with tech, even in virtual reality and AI, saying, hey, 2026 is going to be a year of super upgrades. Just get ready for them. Know that it's going to be a business pain point. But how do you move past that and utilize these tools successfully? That's why I personally stream on more than one platform. We're still live streaming on YouTube. We're live streaming on Rumble. And someday LinkedIn may forgive me for using its platform. I love you, LinkedIn, and I'm ready to rekindle our relationship here. I kind of feel like you took off and you found another girl for a little while, but I'm ready when you decide to land and come back. But here we are. But it's really let's look at these insights of using these tech tools and know that you're not the only one. So don't let anybody gaslight you and say, hey, it's it may be you, it may be your system. I got a brand new computer a couple days ago, so everything's is working. I know everything's totally updated and compatible. But this is what happens when you run events. And I want to bring my friend in here, Americo. It's DaCosta, right?
It is the Costa, yes.
All right. So let me bring you up here and say hello, good morning. Thanks for jumping on with me today.
Good
Um,
morning.
all right. And, let me have you introduce yourself to people here and what you do, because we had a great conversation a few weeks back and I met you and, he been a great supporter in the community and a good person to pick his brain, right? So go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Americo Costa. I am the founder of Journey Logic CX. So customer experience is where I spend most of my space, but I do it from a live lens. Live streaming has been the niche that I've kind of leaned into. And it's funny, you had me come on the show and the stars lined up. I got a post scheduled to go out today that talks about that, how customer experience and live streaming come together. And for me, it's about helping businesses at the top of funnel, creating awareness, building that consideration, building trust. And there's no better way of doing that than through live conversations, that human interaction. Listen, social media marketing is saturated. It is a competitive space, but you want to differentiate yourself. You want to set yourself apart, show up and have a conversation and start building trust in real time.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to build the trust to people, and it's getting in the front. It's front facing, right? How are you? How is it going? Getting into networking, live streaming, and there's some hiccups. We even talked about how the school platform is working with live streaming. So much is changing, and so much is new, and it's the people that lead and understand the necessity to get on board with this. And as we figure out all these hiccups and move with it and kind of merge with the tech, um, you know, other people will come and
Mhm.
other people will follow. And it's those people that say, so if you're going live and you're hosting a podcast or you're hosting a summit, you're hosting an event, you're even hosting maybe a group or getting on a networking, whether it's on Zoom School or any of these millions of platforms that are coming up every day, know that don't let anybody gaslight you or say, hey, you just don't know what you're doing. Okay, you can't know the technology unless it's been there for a while. If you guys remember years ago, and I know I'm dating myself, you get to Blockbusters and people would wait in line days ahead. They'd camp out, they'd bring their tech, right? And say they'd come and for the new iPhone or for the new whatever computer or the new gaming system. And that's not just the way it is we can utilize the tech. But this is why you have backup. So when you're here, and if you're just relying on YouTube or you're just relying on LinkedIn or back in the day, Facebook, you remember when Facebook crashed? Were you on Facebook when all those groups got in there and people were making money, and then all of a sudden it just crashed and nobody could get a hold of their group of people? Do you remember that mess?
Well, you don't even have to go that far back. Look at the present time. It was just a few months ago where Meta announced that events will only be held on their platform for 30 days,
Yeah.
right? So you got all these digital assets that you've built up in the replays. If you're only on the Meta platforms, 30 days, they come and go and your content is gone. So it's always important to have, as you mentioned, that backup plan. You gotta be present, whether it's because of tech hiccups, processes. Hey, Periscope, do we remember Periscope? They're gone. And
Yep.
I know people who have built, huge followings and but they were only on Periscope. And when Periscope turned the lights off, people woke up one morning scrambling. Oh my goodness, where do I go from here? Where's my audience? So we talk about pain points. You got to be present, you got to be visible, but you also got to have line of sight as to what is happening and show up to where your communities are and have backup communities. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and you want to know that your community is not going to be disappearing, right? So a lot of people are escaping Facebook, and they're coming to the other streams and they're coming to school. But part of that is when we're in the relationship and we're building groups of people and we're connecting with them. Yeah, some people like to go on a particular into a particular place. But if you educate them and share with them, hey, you can find me in these other places, just in case you're there, back over here to this other platform and you'll find me there. And it's not because it's my new favorite for today. It's the next new shiny object. It's just a way to back up, right? It's a way to run the business appropriately to say, hey, we've got to have an escape plan. What's our fire exit and where do we go that's safe? So you have other places. And, it's not necessarily that you want to be a hoarder and store all the video. It's just that you want the video in other places so people can find you. It is a way to brand yourself, right? You want to get out there. Are you printing? What kind of footprint are you leaving? It may be bad for the environment if you're leaving a heavy footprint. You don't want to leave your trash, but when you're online, you want to leave that footprint so people can research you. It's those 3-second videos that they find. And yeah, nobody has an attention span. The thing is what people aren't looking at is in those next 5 steps. Those 3 second, those 30 second, those 1 minute videos or commercials will lead you onto the path of a longer form video. Do you find that it takes time to kind of create a relationship, we're going back to really
Absolutely.
nurturing.
Absolutely. So, two things that I want to add to what you just mentioned, and that's the long tail. A lot of people want that instant gratification. And there are platforms that are selling that, the LinkedIns, the Metas, they're selling their boost. You can boost this post, and for X number of dollars per day, we can get you, you know, however many hundreds of thousands of impressions. And they're selling vanity.
Yep.
And if we look at LinkedIn as the example, they define impressions as zero point 0.3 seconds. So you'll get 3 impressions per second on average. And we know, as you touched, the attention span, the average attention span is 1.7 seconds on traditional content. Whereas with live and video, your attention span grows depending on the platform. If you're on the low end, if you get 5 minutes of attention from someone, or even 30 seconds, when you're competing with fractions of a second, you're always further ahead, right?
Well, yeah, but let's talk about that because everybody's like, you want the data, you want this. I think people, do you find that people when you're hosting events or talking to people about live streaming, do you find that people get so sucked? I mean, data's good. You want that. You want to beta test things, you want to launch things, you want to have some type of analytics, but I think there's people that go so deep into it and I don't know that they really have a comprehension of what it does or what it really means, but they want surface level data and then they're going to make a decision on that. Not did they make a sale, not did they connect with attendees, not did they make the money. And that's the ultimate goal. I think they're forgetting the ultimate goal and they want such, you're right, they want vanity points, they want clickbait, but nobody wants the long-term relationship. So even in summits, when we talk about engagement and have a speaker panel, it took people a second, like, oh, I can come on camera and say hello. I can talk to you. I can ask questions. I can engage. It took a second. But once a few of the people in the audience started to talk and have a conversation and let's add this in. What sparks you creatively? Maybe critical thinking. Does this product work for you? Where do you need it in your business? And so when we opened for that, then they thought, oh yeah, this is engagement. I think people want that surface level engagement, but don't look at the long haul and then wonder why they're not getting returns.
That's right. And one of the pain points, and if you ask small businesses, um, what's your biggest pain point? One of two things comes up. Like, I struggle to plan and organize and promote to get people to come out, and I have difficulty monetizing. But they really focus on I want to monetize my event. But you forget you got to give reason for someone to want to show up to your event. You can't just schedule an event, say, hey, it's $20, come listen to me talk. Like, who are you? Why do you want my $20? You got to give me reason to separate myself from $20. So if you're not focused, if you're not shifting your priorities to where they should be, you're going to struggle. You're going to have to be open to having free conversations. This is social selling. You're having a conversation, you're building trust, you're delivering value. And once you earn that, then you're in a position to charge. If you're a speaker, you're building a speaking gig. If you're a business selling services, you're going to focus on trust building. Don't worry so much on your offer. Your offer will come once your community, your tribe, your audience, however you want to define it. Once you've built that trust, and people will start knocking on your door or knocking on your calendar to talk to you.
Well, yeah, it's really build the trust. That's a huge solution is to stay with it. That's the misnomer. People want those clicks. They want that right now action. They want that right here, right now. What's going to give me this? But, a star isn't a star overnight.
That's right.
how many years did somebody go to Nashville?
Oh my goodness, you're touching on such a hot topic. People don't realize, like, well, you know, so and so. Let's not refer to names, but how did this person become an overnight success? How did, and they start pointing fingers. This person did it. I never seen them before, and all of a sudden they're this big, huge success. But people, what they don't tell you is how many years it took to build that overnight success,
True, it's hard
right?
work.
It
It's
is
hard
hard
work.
work. It is hard work.
It's a, and where it copies over into when you're online and the virtual space and events is that really it is that workflow to get there, right? You got to reach out to people, you got to get on podcasts, you got to talk to people, you got to do lives. You've got to, even if something totally breaks down and that's part of your business, you still got to be there at 10 in the morning, right? You got to go live, you got to have that workflow, you got to reach out to people. And then you still have to do the live, you do the event, and you want to reach back to people. You got to circle back. You got to go, hey, let's go over here. Let's talk to people and say, hey. So there is a flow that needs to happen. And the people that say, oh, I don't need that. Well, then why are you, then the question it really is if you feel you don't need that, sometimes it's like, why are you here saying that? You know, deep inside, you need that for your business. Maybe you're procrastinating at whatever level, and that's okay. Here's where we can educate you to move forward. But also, if you're not that overnight success, if you want to have that rock star stage, if you want people to know you, drop your name, hey, do you know this person? You've got to reach out to your clientele. You got to show up. You've got to turn on the camera. And you also, anytime you're in a networking group, that's stage time.
Right.
Anytime you're on a podcast, that's stage time. Anytime you're on a summit, that's stage time. And it does take work. So take advantage of what you're doing and be present in the moment. That's a huge solution, is to be there. I know that I'm on my computer during networking. I book immediately. I'm over there if I'm taking a second, like, hey, circle back to me and I'll, give me 30 seconds because I'm booking this person right now. I want to reach out to this person. I don't want to go back later and dig through the chat. I just want to talk to you right here, right now, and be front facing while you're on my mind. This is why I booked. This is what you put in my head. And that's that conversation. It should be so inspiring in those rooms and those conversations on that podcast and in that summit that people want to engage with you. And that it does take hard work, but it also takes your community and your group. Let's talk about engagement. I think that was our really our conversation and our focus backstage,
Yeah.
which is top of mind right now. It's not only having all these platforms, but it's engaging that people are actually out there marketing themselves as well. And saying, hey, I want to, an event's going to cost more if you're going to add commercials. An event's going to cost more if you're going to go out there and boost some posts. So you got to look at it as a marketing tool. The event's only as good as you're going to put the marketing out. And all are you as well put the marketing out or hiring somebody to add that to that. So there's a component you don't get to just show up. There's a lot that goes on in that space. So if you know what you're going to come, you don't just get arrive. You have to put out, you have to share, you have to collaborate.
Yeah.
I think that starts with the social media. When we were talking about the platform, this isn't Facebook. You're not scrolling to like something. You got to comment and you got to engage. And that's everywhere. Finding that, I think, one of my speakers at a summit the other day said we're in a trust recession. And part of that trust is actually starts from you, right? Do you find that, hey, if I take the initiative to engage, other people will do it too?
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who invest and have doubts, hey, you know what? I booked, I showed up, I spoke, and nothing happened. It's like, well, your biggest opportunity has passed you by if you did nothing after getting off stage. Your live event is just the beginning. You've set, you planned, you showed up, you spoke. But if you're not engaging and you're not closing that loop, circling back to those who attended, if you're not repurposing these digital assets, these conversations, and and building out the story, building out your narrative, and meeting people where they hang out. Hey, you and I, we host like I talk about making live streaming simple, and I find ways for those who I work with, show up, focus on your message, I'll focus on your stream. And but focusing on the stream also means you got to focus after the stream. What are we going to do? Let's focus on the blog. Let's focus on those who didn't attend live. How are we going to get this on-demand content out? How are we going to build awareness? How are people going to consider us, especially those who didn't show up? So it's really about building that story and keeping that engagement alive after the event is over.
Well, that's true, and it's constant engagement. It's a working tool, and it's like, hey, I only want to either commit so much as a speaker, but I don't really want to go out there and brand or pay for that stage. And when you are have the ability to run the tech and you get to let somebody stand out and shine because you're doing all the live stream, right? You're taking care of all those tech tools. There's a lot that goes in there. There's a lot of time that and focus that goes into helping that person stand out and shine and be able to come in and do that. What's a solution for people, or what would you say? Maybe something that people don't talk about much. Let's and say, hey, let's be honest. What is something that you find when you're talking to customers or when you're doing the live stream that people really don't talk about enough, or it's kind of like whether it's a come to Jesus moment or something, to say, hey, let's be honest about calling that elephant in the room. Let's be honest about what happens and how this works, so we can really say, hey, this is what it takes to be that rock star.
Well, people want guarantees. Hey, if I'm going to book this event, how many sales am I going to get? What's my return on this investment? And that's the key. This is an investment. And if you just throw the money at it and do nothing with it, nothing's going to happen. I can guarantee that I'm going to put all the effort to get people to show up. The elephant in the room becomes, well, I or a person not realizing how much time, effort. It's like, well, why should I pay you to do this when I can do this myself? Absolutely. Anyone can do this themselves. But how many people have we spoken to who have given up? They set up their live stream, they set up an event, and they get poor traction, poor attendance, and it just knocks the wind out of their sails.
Mhm.
Realizing the importance and the value that it's not just about, hey, let's buy some software, let's click live, go live and have a conversation. It's more than that. And that's the aha moment that many people see. It's like, well, I had no idea how much work goes into this. And you start to help people see things that they wouldn't have considered, right? Promotion is such a great thing. Some people, it's like, hey, I'm going to go live tomorrow. It's like, and then they're disappointed that no one showed up. Right? Hey,
True.
life gets in the way. You have to give yourself, depending on what the conversation type is, depending on who you want to bring to this conversation, you know, at best, the shortest I would recommend is a week. You want to give this a really good tail. 3 to 4 weeks might be optimal, but it's different for every business. It's different for every conversation. But don't pick up the phone or send me an email. It's like, hey, can we put something together for tomorrow? Like those pop-up events, you're wasting your time, effort, and energy if your expectation is having people show up and engage and be present at your event. There- If you want to record and save it for another day and build it into your content calendar, great. But if you want to go live and expect that everyone's going to drop what they're doing to hear what you're saying, that's you're in for a shock.
That absolutely, that I think that's great that you're sharing that. It's really that if you want to just come in and show up and cruise into the drive-through and get your Happy Meal, that's fine. But know that in order for that Happy Meal to come out, or you want to supersize it, you want that cheeseburger to taste the same as it does at every McDonald's, you have to factor in when you want to talk about data and analytics all the time, and a lot of people do. Are you factoring in what it took for that franchise to develop over the years? Are you factoring in the money, the time, the headache, the heartache, the amount of people, the amount of grease, the amount of preparation in the kitchen? I mean, I used to work in the kitchen. We used to break it down every night and clean it at a TGI Fridays kitchen. I said, there's a lot that goes in there for you to get that plate of nachos. And yeah, those nachos are delicious. I love the baked what were they the potatoes the fried potatoes with the bacon in it. Oh, those were great, right? So they have a great plate of appetizers, but it took time to get there. If you want to just get in that drive-through at McDonald's, that cheeseburger to taste the same, it doesn't mean you just show up and then drive
Mhm.
through. You got to factor in the person in front of you. You got to factor in the person in the window. Did you look at the preparation? So what does it take to get there? What did it take to get there? If you're going to go in the middle of the busiest time of the day, let's say it's 1 o'clock in the morning, the club just got out, you're driving through that McDonald's that still is open till 2, and that means the other 50 people had the same idea from the club because you
Mhm.
want your snacks, and you're in that line and you think it's going to take under 3 minutes because they have a time limit. It's not going to happen. You didn't factor in all the hundreds of people before you. So when you're at an event, you've got to factor all that in. You don't just get to cruise. You got to show up. And I think the best collaborations happen and the most money that I have seen people make and the greatest, strongest call to actions and buyers that people have gotten was from the other speakers. The speakers are your audience. And for you to negate that those other speakers that show up at a summit, the co-host, the host that's there, that's putting all that time in, that you think should be always free,
Mhm.
um, is they put that work in and you want them to have that fantastic energy all the time. That's your audience. Those are the aligned people, especially when you're entrepreneurs. You may be sharing a great business tool. That's your audience. I know a lot of people that are hosts that spend more money on the people they bring in and guest or buy the systems of their speakers. Money I've seen people drop at 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 on another speaker. Are you negating that person that's staying there? Like, hey, we don't have an audience. We just had speakers. If they're staying for you, you're good enough to listen to.
That's right.
If they made a connection with you, you're good enough to talk to. And then if that conversation is good enough, they're going to refer you. So not only are you making money then, you're making money down the road. That's your collaboration. And I think that's a secret that people don't talk about either, is that, that's the industry secret. That's a hush hush is, oh, don't talk about all the money and the greatness and the support that people get and the collaboration, the affiliation that happens from the summit host or the other speakers. Is it butts and seats, or is it that you want that call to action to go through? And don't negate those VIPs. Nobody ever watches the videos. They sure do. We just had an event, Devastated to Divine Alignment. More people bought the VIP than showed up because it was in support of that. And some people couldn't come on camera. They didn't want to be at the event because of the focus was it. So what is the truth? We miss that truth, I think. And I think a good solution is really just doing it. And like circling back to like, hey, if you're just gonna do a live pop-up, do you have the audience that is looking for you to do that?
That's right.
Are you Tony Robbins? Are you Alex Hermosi? And if you just said, "Hey, I'm doing a pop-up live," do
Yeah.
you have the
I'll
audience?
I'll ask people when I'm working with them, um, what will I find when I Google your name? It's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, well, let's let's do that exercise right now. Google your name and look it up in AI mode and look it up on Google and what comes up when you Google your name. And some people, you know exactly where I'm headed, and others, when they Google their names, like, well, I see my LinkedIn profile and maybe I see my Facebook profile, but very little else. Like, all right, so why would people want to come out and see you when they can't find you? Right? If you are your own product, you are the personal brand, you're selling your service, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're at the center of your personal brand, you now become that commodity that people are going to look for, to buy and pay for. And what do customers do when they're shopping? They do research. They want to see the reviews. They want to see, where are you present? What are people saying about you? Where are you showing up? How are you resonating? How's your social footprint resonating across the different ecosystems? And if you don't give them enough reason to make and establish trust and make that decision to move forward, then it's all for naught.
Ah, stop being the best kept secret. And
Uh,
and yeah,
yeah.
don't be the best kept secret. Really sharing that with people to say, hey, it takes money to run your business. It takes money to make money. And if you think you're just going to show up every time I want a free stage, well, who entitled you to that? What experience do you have? And that does go back to the research. So the question is really, if you want to be that rock star, or that where Britney Spears was years ago when she was on the stage and people would just melt when she came into the room, or they wanted to tune in. Now they just tune into the craziness that goes on. But if you go back in the stage of somebody that had that, or a John Cena, right? People knew who he was from WWE. They still know who he is. Somebody had to pay for that to be there.
Yeah.
So if your mom's not there to pay the bill or write the check, so you can get some, great kudos. We're doing it ourselves. We're taking accountability. We're being leaders, and I think this is a great conversation to have, because you really, let's critically think to look at it, and it's not to say anybody's bad. It's not to say anything, but let's really talk about how you get there. How do you influence your audience? How do you not stay the best kept secret anymore? You got to get out of there. And there's people I have talked to that say, "Hey, I don't get engagement on social media." And I went, like you said, let's look you up. I went through their account and I said, "Well, you're just posting. Have you reached out to anybody? Have you
Mhm.
commented? Have you DM'd? Have you talked?" Well, I had a phone conversation with him. Unfortunately, that doesn't translate to the clicks, the likes, the clicks on
Yeah.
Facebook and the comments. This is what moves it. This is why it's so important to have somebody on your side that knows how the full system works. All the cogs and widgets are well oiled. It's a well-oiled machine. And when one gets thrown or a belt gets broken, you have to replace that. And
That's
wouldn't you
right.
rather have somebody that you can trust, that knows how to live stream or run an event, that will support you and not lose it? Oh my God, I could have lost it. We had an issue with a Zoom link on an event, and I had changed it the night before. Zoom had done some upgrading. I had gone on the platform that I had used. They had done something different. It was the same link. I still replaced it. Just like this morning, I put the same exact link. I even read all the digits on there to compare them. I put the same link in there, all of a sudden it worked. Same with a summit. But when you're looking at that, sometimes because it's tech, you just have to redo it. You just have to refresh it. It's
Mhm.
like the old school, did you unplug it and replug it? Did you reboot the system?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to go in there and check it. So I had to reset the system. People couldn't come in. They couldn't come into the event. I couldn't reach out to people on LinkedIn. What a cluster, right? Couldn't DM them, couldn't remind them that the event was here, because the email doesn't always do the reach. You still have to go in an hour before your event. So I was blocked from doing this. And it's like, would you rather somebody that loses it or makes it look okay? Because then you forget that, oh, that person is such a great support system, because if I had to do it myself, I would have lost it. If I had to put it together, it wouldn't have worked. So that's why you hire people, because it's not if, it's when, and it will happen. I used
That's
to
right.
see this at live events in Las Vegas, in the casinos. There was so much that went on, and what it took just to get a pot of coffee. That's why it cost so much. Not only because the coffee was good at the Win, but that Lavazza espresso. I don't know if you're into espresso, but that's good stuff. It smells so great. But what it takes to get to that, and that's what this is when you're running tech. This is coming back to what you have to do. Go on one more than one platform. Plan ahead. That's a solution. How is it a solution? Because you're planning to know, that what is it? If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, right?
That's right.
So how do you do that moving forward? I think the solution is, like you were saying, you don't just pop up on a live stream. You got to comment, you got to connect, you got to engage. You're not an overnight success. And if you think you can do it yourself, that's probably why you're still invisible. Go right
That,
ahead.
that-
You absolutely can. You can. Right? We can girl
yeah.
power it all day. I can do it myself, and I know I fell into that trap. But I think it's something for someone like you, Americo, to say, hey, this is the person you've got to look at. How do I live stream? What do I really need to do with all the ins and outs? And is it really more difficult than just getting my phone out and going live? Is there something to that? Is there a methodology to it? Would you say there's something that it's your wisdom that has taken time to see these changes?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of so many things. You talk about the tech hiccups, and I'm a big advocate of transparency when it comes to vulnerabilities. Get in front of that. Stop pointing fingers. Hey, this was Zoom's fault. This was LinkedIn's fault. Hey, we uh we bounced back. We stayed in our lane. We stayed the course, and you build that into your story. Those who were at the event know the trials and tribulations that they went through to access the event, for the event to kickstart. But you want to bring that narrative when you're repurposing. You continue to build trust because you're being honest with yourself. Hey, it was it the best kickoff? Probably not. But we moved forward, and you build that into your story, and people will consume that. People want those vulnerable moments. They want to know that we're human. Listen, there's so much AI slop going around that so many of us are starting, it doesn't take long to figure out, all right, this is AI generated. The vanilla that everyone has become by leveraging all these AI tools. People are craving what we're offering. And you touched on earlier the analytics. There is a nerdy side of me that looks at the data really close, especially helping paint the picture for someone that I'm working with. It's like, well, that was a complete disaster. No one showed up, or we had low engagement. There's no point in following up on this one. Let's just carve carve out more money for the next event. And when customers think that their event was a flop, that's when I kind of dig into the analytics. Like, all right, let's take a look at the first 24 hours of the on-demand. How many views is one thing? It's like, well, we're getting low views. Focus on total views. When you see that your total views outweigh your unique views, that tells you that people came back to either continue to listen or they came back to listen to what they heard the first time. And that means your message is resonating. Sure, you may not have gotten the outcome you wanted from that event, but once again, this is the long tail. You know it's resonating, you keep at it. Because if you just show up and talk about something, hey, this is the hot, shiny topic of this week, and then you forget about it and you move on to something else, people are going to start judging. Like this person's all over the place. This week, Americo's talking about, the bridge behind Nicole's background. One day he's an engineer, the next day he's he's a barista, and like stay the course. If you believe in yourself and you believe in the value proposition that you're providing, then stick to it. Don't deviate from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay with it and learn the lesson, and that's to share like, hey, these were lessons to learn, and it's to remind people how great they are with the experience, not only the experiences they have, but the experience in their business that they have, and the influence that they can share, that they do share with their group, and really saying, hey, you have these solutions. It's to learn the lesson. And I tell this story because I want people to know, hey, what did you learn from it? What did you do next? How did you get past that? What did you learn from it? How did you get through it? And what did you look inside? And I work with a lot of wonderful coaches and consultants, and it's like, hey, you guys, we all teach this and it works. It truly works to hone in on your experience and that soul-led leadership from within and say, hey, I did a thing. I showed up. I was impactful, I was powerful, and I moved forward, and it was so great. And that's what we want to get you to. These are the steps we want you to take. Learn from our experiences, learn from the lessons, and know yeah, the data is great. There's a point that it's great, but there's a point where we're ingenuitive, we're creative, and we're moving forward. And what can we do to get over those hurdles? And that's what's great about having a conversation with you is to say, hey, you have these strengths, this knowledge, this experience to really share with people how to rock the stage. What's the reality of it? Have some fun, do the thing, show up and actually use it as a business model and a strategy and not just ride through and I'm going to be there forever. You're Alex Hermosi, how many years? I mean, yeah, he's still young, but what did he have to do to put into his business? What team did he have to utilize to get to where he's at? If he didn't have a strong team, I mean, he does, is his wife is also his business partner, and they do run separate businesses as well. But there's a team that's needed. There's true collaboration, and we're collaborating at all times and we're working together. And that's why this is a business. That's why this is needed when you want people to know about you, when you want to share the influence and you want to have that outreach and that engagement. This is why this is necessary. So there's a few things we can let go of in our toolbox that we used to use and know it's a new time and things have changed and people are changed and their engagement has changed. We're coming to a close. I did
Mhm.
share all the connections with you. People can connect with you on LinkedIn and on the school platform. And you've got some great information, some very engaged community in there. Any last takeaways? I'll give you the last word here.
So the biggest takeaway is, and you take the Hermosi, the Gary V examples. What's the one thing that they did that made them successful? They didn't let themselves get in the way. And that's what we typically do. We become our biggest obstacles because we're either too stubborn to ask for help, we're too stubborn to deviate, to pivot. We are our biggest obstacles. Let go. Sometimes letting go is the best thing to do. And believe in yourself. You know, believe that you can do this, and don't be afraid to ask for help because live streaming is definitely one of the simplest marketing solutions that very few people tap into or give up on too quickly.
Yes, absolutely. Know that you're in it to win it. You're in it for the long haul. This is something that you have to curate, and definitely put some time into it. It does become easy after a while. It becomes a little bit simpler. And it's just doing that. And it's great to have somebody in your pocket, somebody on the team running this behind the scenes, because there's a lot of parts and pieces that go into it. And this way you can come in with your expertise and technically come on the stage and know that it's going to work for you. So thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm glad you
It
were
was a
here
pleasure.
today. And that you heeded the call and you were able to guest today. So thank you so much. All right, you guys, we'll see you next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll give you some more solutions to your business pain points and some of that casual conversation that goes on behind the scenes that people don't talk about. So thank you so much. All right, guys, bye bye, bye bye.